YouTube called Natural Connection with the Shaman. I am your host, Shaman Odin Greywolf, and I'm here live with my co host, Jamie Jette. And today we're going to talk about characters that we play. This topic came up when me and Jamie were having a talk the other day when we were communicating about victim mentality. And what we came up with is sometimes people need the victim mentality to continue to have something to talk about because we live in the information superhighway where everyone has social media platforms and they need current topics to discuss. So we're going to go with that and just see where it takes us. So before I get too far ahead, let me introduce Jamie Jette. Go ahead, Jamie. Tell them about yourself.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to John's channel. Well, my label is Jamie, but I am finding out there's a lot more to that than just the label that I was given at birth. I am a facilitator of a really intimate, sacred group on Mondays at the Center for Spiritual Living on a Rancho, and it's called Life Reflection Cafe. And it's just an hour and a half and a small, intimate, and I'm telling you, we dive into some conversations. There's no outline, no agenda. We breathe in. Sometimes we just sit in the circle in silence. So it's really, we were trying to say, how do we describe it? Because the different centers, Unity and CSL, is trying to introduce like reflection. Come join us. But we've been doing it for 3 years now on Mondays at 10 o'clock. And then also, I've been gifted the opportunity with a beautiful spirit, Katie Hancock. She and I met at Drum Circle over there at Sunset one evening a couple years ago. And wow, it was just like she came into my life from way long ago.
Right.
So anyway, somehow we just collaborated, and now we are just inspiring people to recognize that frequency, even frequency is helping to regulate and balance out and realign oneself, and also open the chakras, open the meridian lines, open the nodes that might be blocked from trauma or even exterior frequency. And yes, and then I'm married to the man who runs Uniting Wellness. It's a peptide company. And yeah, if you want to know questions, you'll have to ask John to direct you.
Yeah. Yeah. Just check out anuralabs.com online and you can get all of your healthcare needs there. Yeah. So yeah, I like how you said the frequency, how we realign the frequency, and they are great facilitators at that. It's wonderful, and bringing that balance back into life is like, sometimes people get the misunderstanding that vibrating at a higher frequency means to be so active and energetic when it really means being present and calm. When you're present and calm, like things come to your mind. And what we were talking about with these masks and characters we played is a lot of the ego deaths that I went through were realizing like, oh, I was behaving like a character I saw on TV, or oh, I was playing the villain, or I was playing the victim. And it just comes with ego deaths. It just comes with your realization that you were playing a character that was possibly propagated by your surroundings. I'm studying in cognitive behavioral therapy right now, and it's really interesting to learn how our thoughts create emotions and that becomes a behavior. And it's interesting because what are our thoughts directed by on a day to day basis? We live in technology superhighway, so we get information from all over the place. So as I'm going through this workbook, I'm learning how to limit the channeling of information because I wonder myself, what character do I play? I like to think I play kind of the fool, because that leaves me open to always learn more, the beginner's mind. Um, when I limit myself to say, like, oh, let me play the master today, I'm really limiting myself because we can learn from everyone around us. So I don't know. What were your thoughts on some of the topics we were talking about?
Well, when I saw the image that was selected, I just instantly came to the realization that sometimes we put the mask on, and it's not. There's nothing wrong with ego. The ego is really actually part of what is necessary or part of my makeup. Okay, just like
Yeah,
my heart, lungs, and the ego is there. The ego is really super important, but then because of the mesmeric things with the glass that we stroll, and when it goes dark you can even see the scrolling, you can see your own image when you're scrolling on this glass, and all of a sudden it dawns on me that wait a minute, it's I'm seeing people's um, self perhaps the idea of their self, who they really are when they really that's not really who they are. I mean, does that make sense? Maybe
yeah,
not. Anyway,
absolutely.
what happens is when we came to America, it's the American dream. And if now that we're on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and all these social medias, click and likes and algorithms, and it's all about the doing, 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 doing. And at what point do we really just allow ourselves to maybe take off and say, when you see your eyes in the glass as you're scrolling, who am I?
Yeah,
What is this mask? Who is this person behind this persona or somebody who's doing, 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 doing? And instead of the idea that everything that you are, that's why I love the image. Because when we allow ourselves to practice just removing the mask, maybe even just for a couple of seconds a day or more as we get stronger with it, we realize that everything, our own hero, our own best
topic came up. Oh,
of the what our best of what we're searching for is already us. And that's why when I saw that image, I was like, yes. So when I shared it with my friends, I just said, yeah, really, when we do get to take off the mask of conditioning, the
yeah,
mask of algorithms, the mask of God, it reminds me of that Black Mirror. All of a sudden, you aren't enough because you don't get likes and clicks and hearts and smiles. No, 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 no. When you realize that everything we are, and I was talking to Bob about this morning. Could you imagine his assistant? Could you imagine being told as a child that you are magnificent, that you create everything? I was reading something that says, I'm already, we're a creator, that we put food in our mouth. I'll put scrambled eggs in my mouth, and somehow this universe inside knows exactly what to do. It's not wearing a mask, it's not hiding, it's doing what it innately knows what to do. And that's make blood and help my body roll and move, and then I even took it a little deeper. What about when you breathe in air? There we are again, creators. We're alchemists because when we breathe in what? Oxygen,
yeah.
we release carbon dioxide. I mean, so we're masters, we're our own heroes, we're alchemists. I'm just so excited about these visits that we get on Tuesdays because it also is opening perhaps gateways for maybe others to just stop and think, God, what about the idea that I really am everything that I've always wanted?
Right. The opportunity to just open up dialogue is really big because, like, say for instance, the masks we wear. Somebody very close to me just recently went through a separation, and was asking me like, what do I do now? Now that my kids are grown, I don't have my partner, and it can be, and at 40 years old, that could be devastating. There's a lot of people that have to begin their life. This person, like myself, had children while he was a child, teenager. So growing up in life, he has always been father or spouse, part in a partnership, always been told what is good and what is not good to be done. And now later in life, in his middle age, it's time to find oneself. And this is where we realize, like, oh my God, look at all of these masks I wore. And one of the main topics I told him is, I go, you've got to understand now that nothing is wrong. It's your time. It's your time to find who you really are. What do you like? And that is where I went through that when I had my separation. I was like, oh my God, I'm nothing without my spouse. What am I? So all I did is I kind of just threw everything up in the air and I go, well, I'm going to start with just doing things I like. I like to flip tarot. I'm going to keep playing with tarot. I like to use runes. I'm going to do runes. And I just kept going through. And there was things that I picked up, habits like hobbies that I would pick up just to try because I was interested in, and nah, they weren't for me, so they would go to the side. So it's really interesting that we came up with that conversation about the characters because we do play a lot of characters in life, especially when you're a father. You play the hero, you play the provider, you play the teacher, you play the strong, stern one, and it's just really interesting. There's a lot of people starting over in their mid 40s. What do you think about that? How do you think about that?
Well, I think, isn't it exciting? Isn't it exciting? Because it's with, again, the magnificent precision when we allow to step in and tune in to this universe, the university. Okay. I don't
Right?
care if you tell yourself, um, I came here to gather data. I came here to, and well, there's all kinds of questions we can sit for years and ask ourselves.
Oh yeah.
um, when we allow ourselves to realize, and they used to call them hats. Now it's interesting how the words are all meaning collectively the same thing. Son, you're first a son, and a grandson, and a brother, and the ba, baby. You have all these different names, and so now we call them masks because it depends on what theater or stage you are on that you put the mask. And so when you and I've noticed how even for myself, I was like, wow, wait, I put on a mask. I was like a chameleon.
Yeah.
Good at it. I have an array of masks.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, I started realizing it didn't feel good. I started tuning into my body, which I keep telling again and again and again. We are frequency. We are walking antennas. We are wired with the universe.
Yeah.
So as I get practice more, I'm getting a little more comfortable. I'm taking down gently at a time and kind of looking at seeing, well, that worked for me well when I was on that stage.
Yes.
And it felt good. It wasn't that I was hiding. I just wanted to fit in. I wanted to be comfortable with my surroundings. I did as my conditioning said, get you know get in or fit in where you can get in. And it was that dog eat dog. um how can I climb? How can I be better? How can I get higher marks? How can I get recognized by my doing?
Right.
And now that as I'm getting older, wow, it's such an opportunity that I'm able to step in to a different stage
Yeah.
and say it's okay that I don't have to have a mask. I can One woman wrote yesterday, it's because if we're open to be able to share our vulnerability, um, being vulnerable with knowing that I have worn a lot of masks,
Yeah.
it allows other people to say, "Wow, let me look through my eyes at myself and see, am I wearing a mask to be a fit in? Am I wearing a mask to be a hero? Am I wearing a mask to wear to be a perfect wife?" When in reality, we are we are ah, we're made of the same stuff of the shooting stars and the sun. And I know sometimes I know when I say something like that, my dad thinks I'm wackadoodle. But I'm like, Dad, don't shoot the messenger, man. I'm
Yeah.
just sharing with you um, the beauty that I'm seeing with my aperture just a little bit different, and that's all. That's all.
Yeah. And it is, there is nothing wrong with the masks that we wear because it's in order to get through life. Like we have to be one person to work, to be out of work, right? If you were to be your authentic, vulnerable self at work, you probably wouldn't get very far, because you've got to fall in line. You got to do your role and keep up with the Joneses. Then we have our roles with our parents, because of course they're no matter how old we get, they're gonna see us as their children, just like I still see my kids as my children. It's a part of life that what we do is we learn to wear these masks. But as you gradually grow older and kind of just mature on your own, you learn how to take these masks off and to be more genuine to yourself. Because, like you were saying, they do feel uncomfortable. And it's almost like a painful, like for autistic people and ADHD, a lot of it, they call it masking because that's why they love their time alone because they don't have to be on what are they on display, I guess, like they don't have to be in character because their minds work on different levels. So masking's it's not a negative thing. It's just something that we do as humans naturally. And realizing which ones we want to wear and which ones we don't need to wear anymore is the process of growing up and learning about yourself. Like I was telling this person, what do you like? There's Facebook. One thing that Facebook is really good for, whatever you like, there's a group out there. If there's a group out there, they have meetings. And one of the things that I did is when I was trying to find myself, I just started looking online for groups. I would go to their events and I would just stand there. I didn't expect to meet anybody. I didn't expect anyone to talk to me. I just kept showing up. And then eventually people talked to me, and that's how I started over. I just found things that I liked rather than the things that I could just, hey, what's up, bro? That's Brandon, my brother. Holy moly. Sorry, I got the chat over here on the sideline. I put it on the side because when the chat comes up on the screen here, it really throws me off. But yeah, so it's not a negative thing. We all have to wear masks in our lives, and just growing up and growing wiser is how we learn to take them off and be ourselves. Like my grandfather used to tell me, when you're comfortable in your birthday suit, that's when you've mastered reality. So,
Wow. That thank you, because I guess we'll keep practicing. Because I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but at Shangri-La, we have clothing optional. And it's really interesting how people are so conditioned about their body. And I'm like, it's your temple, it's your home. What are you talking about? But again, you have to honor people's conditioning and what they're, it's body acceptance. So anyway, I thought that was pretty cool. When you say it again, what'd your grandpa say? When you're comfortable in your birthday suit.
you
Yeah.
you have mastered reality. Yeah, and it's really true. Nudist colonies, that's a lot of people get them confused with the whole sexual part of it, but it's not. It's really about being authentically yourself. Feeling comfortable in your own skin is very important in life. There's a practice when you're doing shadow work to get naked and look in the mirror and accept yourself. Because if we were to if we live with all the unrealistic expectations that we meet through advertisement, we would hate ourselves. No one in life, and a lot of people, we do, that conditioning comes in. Even if you have good self confidence, every now and then that conditioning comes in where you just don't feel so good on these days, right? And that's one thing I was reading about in cognitive behavioral therapy is like, there was a story about a man, and I related to it, had a injury. His injury put him out of commission. He had to heal from all this. And as he was going through it, the injury damaged his confidence, which lowered his self thought. And that, by him lowering his self thought, the thoughts started rolling in. I'm not good enough. I'm a bad person. When in reality, he was injured. And like my therapist tells me, could you have done anything about that? So if you become injured, is there something that you could have done? No, it was out of your control, right? And then is there anything you can do to control how others perceive you? No. So then as we work through it, but it can lead to depression very fast, is what I was getting at. I kind of went off on a tangent. I lost myself there, but getting comfortable in your birthday suit is where we were, right?
Yeah. Interesting how again that those two feelings of shame and guilt, where it's almost shameful, it's um yeah and so we've experienced the idea when you are able to be in your birthday suit with yourself. It is there is no shame. There is no guilt. It is so, how do I want to say that it's a liberation of there's not a mask. Of
Yes.
course, not a fig leaf, I get that. But there's a lot of emotions that bring you back into that space of what is this? Is just this my mask? Is this is what I've created for the day to put on to have the, you create, we're creating all the time. But when you are in your birthday suit, it's almost, wow, how did this get go from mask to birthday suit? In your birthday suit, it's a sense of, again, body acceptance, trust.
Yeah.
It is, there's all kinds of emotional feelings, courage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and then it's also acceptance to know that you have, and some people don't have two hands and two legs, but there's still body acceptance. And
Yeah.
so I really think that people that are uh, have these horrific accidents or quadriplegic, or you want to know about somebody who doesn't wear a mask, go sit and have a conversation with them.
Yeah.
Find out through their aperture, through their eyes, how do they see, how they feel. And
Yeah.
so I think it's really interesting. Yeah, I might have to do that. That just came to me that they don't they don't wear a mask. Um, they're just in it. They're
Yeah.
in one with their situation their body is in. They're one, but they don't care about algorithms. They don't care about do. They just are they are almost as a forced situation of just being.
Yeah.
Yeah, they think that's why who is it? David Hawkins, he was such a brilliant man who could just move his fingers to make things work.
Oh,
So,
Stephen Hawking.
Stephen, that's it. And I'm telling myself he had ego. I
Oh
think he
yeah.
did quite the personality.
Yeah.
However, he didn't, he was so comfortable with who he knew himself to be. And wow, wow, that's where I want to drink that Kool-Aid.
Well, see, that's how we get the confident masks, our soul costume. Like when we start doing things that we truly enjoy and love, a healthy ego becomes of us. And that comes from comfortability. Like you're saying, the nudist colony is being comfortable in your skin. Stephen Hawking's, he was very comfortable in his mind and his knowledge, and it becomes your power, you know. So a lot of it is we take our flaws that we always look at like, oh, this is bad, and we learn to make those our power, and you can build a very healthy ego. Whereas you can always tell somebody who is living in shame, guilt, or fear is they still look at their flaws like something's wrong with them rather than, yeah, so what? You know, like I was explaining this to my that person who's really close to me. I was telling them, you know, you got to get comfortable with people telling you, "Oh my God, you did this," and going, "Yeah," and you know, because we since the time we were young, we since the time we were young, we were conditioned to favor and take on the personas of things that got us praise and shun and hide things that got us those uncomfortable looks. Like if you're in the I'm just going to use the nudist because we're going with very good example of shedding the ego masks. You're in a nudist colony. It really is important about the other people too, because if you were to reveal yourself and then they were to pick at you like, oh my God, look at this, and oh my God, look at that, well, you would never learn to get your own character, right? So it's the same thing in the world. What happens is when you reveal your true self, the reason why you put on a mask is because somebody shunned that before. That's where we have like people afraid of their sexuality, people afraid of their intelligence, people afraid of just speaking up, you know, just being themselves. So, yeah, that's why I noticed they're perfect for this topic.
Also, there are people, as, again, as we all know, we're now into the time of a lot of change, a lot of change, and we've been in it for quite a while. Um, and so I want to remind everybody we're in the 1 year, the 1 year of a 9 cycle, and because the universe does work with such quantum formulas and quantum patterns and magnificent um, combinations
Yeah.
is where we are now. It's now collectively we're coming together to say it's okay. You know how they used to have parties back in the 90s, and if you were to you'd have to put your keys in a basket so that we had to check to make sure you weren't drunk in order to drive. Well, it's
Oh,
now kind of like we're doing this now. Circles are coming together where you can leave your mask, you can leave your identity, you can leave, and we're going to go and play in a new sandbox of just remembering, just breathing in the fact that I am connected with you and you are connected with me. And that person is connected with another. It's just such a beautiful fabric
yeah.
tapestry in the day. And so, yeah, I'm just knowing this 2026 is such a it's shaken up. Don't think it's not. You know, there's when you have something on the top, it's like an iceberg. All these stuff we're seeing on the media and all this we're seeing on the Facebook and all these things. Whoo, you don't think there's a big Gibraltar under all of that, giving it energy? But what is going and what is the possibility and the potential that can arise from all of that? A lot,
Yeah.
a
That's
lot.
what that's kind of what our topic was. We went a little off, but it's I love when we go off because it makes it more interesting. But yes, like the controversy out there is feeding victim mentality. If we have an opposition, if we are angered at something outside of ourselves, we're giving away our power, and that's what victim mentality means. I know it's hard to see from like it, and there's nothing more evolved about what I'm about to say or grandiose more that better than anything. It's just an awareness that comes over yourself once you have realized that like you've given your entire life to false narratives that don't fit your life. So when we have we're all victims at the end of the day. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. We can't let the media control us with their pick Pepsi or Coke. And I mean, you can, but what happens when you do that is you've just given all your power away. You've on top of that, you've fortified, you've built a better, stronger standing point for whatever you're angry about. You're giving them the power to become something over you. So it's just that's what I see victim mentality is. And it takes a while to get to the mind state of, well, I don't care if the Raiders win. I don't care if the Golden Knights win. I don't care what the Dodgers do. They're fun, but it's interesting to play the sports, but I don't want to be rah 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 at another opposition. And I'm just using those because
I wanted to touch base on something that you just said that kind of wanted me to remind somebody that it is okay um, when we do, because I'm human. I'm still deconditioning my conditioning. I'll probably go to my grave doing that.
yeah,
But I just know that I'm allowing myself to to feel the anger, feel the resentment, feel the shame, feel the guilt, feel the resentment. But wait, what about me? You know, I'm
yeah,
allowing, and then I'm stopping and I'm asking myself, why?
yes,
Where is this coming from, Jamie? Is this coming from when you were 5 years old? And you grew up with twin brothers that you competed with consistently for daddy and mommy's attention? Is it your 9-year-old who was once in love with a little boy who drowned?
yeah,
Well, is it the teenager who was bullied? Is it the young woman? Who and why, Jamie? Where is it coming from? Now, I told somebody the other day, I'm not going to pitch a tent there to
yeah,
try to figure it out. But
yeah,
I do ask myself the question because
yeah,
I know in my now you all understand that I know I'm talking to the council. I am talking to the other side all the time. I really believe they want us to. So my higher self has been asked the question because I verbally or mentally say, where is this coming from, Jamie? And
yeah,
then I let it go because I know my higher self shall bring me the answers. That shall bring, whether it's in a book, you, my friend, are a hoot. The way the universe talks to you through license plates. Holy crap. I get over how the universe uses that, and tarot and movies and song. I mean, the universe, if we stop
yeah,
and pause and listen. We were talking about this earlier. I'm in a wonderful class, human design. Oh God, I'm having the time of my life with it right now. But I get triggered because in nonviolent communication, Bob has taught me that if you are too busy already wanting to give me an answer, or you're all sitting there chatting away and I'm trying to learn from my teacher, I'm telling myself, you aren't even listening to the valuable wisdom you pay for.
Right.
So okay, JB, why are you triggered? You're triggered because you're annoyed that they're not listening and you want to be, I want to absorb it like a sponge. So I kind of worked around that. I shut the damn chats off and now I'm at peace and I don't have to sit there and question their behavior that's obviously triggering me, but they don't realize that they're shortchanging themselves by chitty chatting instead of just sitting back, grabbing a bottle of water and just listen.
You know, I've been going through something recently with I have a Facebook, I have an Instagram, and every single time I've wanted to go post something in the last 2 weeks, I've told myself, why am I posting this? What am I offering to this social media? Am I trying to show myself better than another? Am I trying to prove my wisdom? Or, and I've really been cracking up at it because that to me is, how you said the license plates and the songs and movies and tarot and the whole world talks to me, right? Well, when I had a lot of my realizations, ego realizations, it was the universe turning all of my terrible self on myself, and I had to see myself. And I
Mm,
was going, oh my God, that's me. And recently, I don't know why, but it's been when I go to post something, and mainly because you get to a point in life where as a child I masked a lot, to learn how to read people's emotions and mentality for my safety. And throughout life, at work, you've learned how to read people. So now when I go online, I can read people. I can see what they're posting and I can actually see beyond their words.
mm,
And when I see that, I'm stopping myself to retort, right? Or subtweet, as people call it, because I wonder, like, where does this all come from? Now that everyone in the world has their own TV channels and their own magazines, like social medias, where where are these people? Where are they allowed to actually be themselves? Many people don't even feel safe at home alone because they have this identity through this reality. And I used to call it like walking with a invisible entourage.
mm,
So
mm.
it's interesting you say that. I've been experiencing that lately. Like, what is this post going to do? Is it going to bring value to those who are my friends? Is it going to damage the ego of those that I interact with? And I haven't posted much at all.
Well, thank you for bringing that up because something happened on Sunday, and yeah, I was, life every day is like the petri dish. I keep telling everybody this is all an experiment. Have a grand time.
Yeah.
Well, I because I am still getting to know myself. Who is this person labeled Jamie? That has how many lifetimes? Who really are you? Um, I got triggered about something on Sunday in more ways than one, but I got giggled too. But the one thing that was something was given for me, and the person never heard, never listened. They had just already tuned me out. They were on blinders. They were on. They were all about the numbers. They were got to get the head count in the front door. We got to make this big all over Vegas. I mean, it was that passionate.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought because every day I write the universe, and I am now renaming myself. I'm identifying as vessel. I'm identifying as the vessel for spirit, universe, whoever I'm not seeing on the invisible side to work on the side.
Yeah.
And I walk by the brochure, and all of a sudden, in my mind, so I know when things come on this side, it's for me. Aren't you the one who writes every day that you're the vessel? Aren't you the one who writes you're the vessel to be the messenger to share for others? This isn't about you, Jamie. And I instantly knew, I said, oh my God, I knew who I'm supposed to give the brochure to. I am the messenger. So I'm telling you, every day is such a trip if you um, if you allow yourself to just pause, because I did pause. And I thought it was interesting that the answer came that loud in my ear that
Yeah.
now I knew the brochure. And that's not for me. It's not my ego, my mask of defense saying, all I heard was they want butts through the door and they want to be the biggest 5013C in the valley and blah, 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 blah. All that went right off the table. And what I knew what my position was. So with your, I'm getting coming to this point, John, only because when we ask, why am I doing that? Because don't think I'm not having this conversation. You know, Elandra is sitting in the closet wanting to come out with her galactic information, but I have yet the courage to do it. So I understand, and it's because of my ego. My ego is all in there. My ego is, and Bob keeps saying, you're making up excuses, one after another, after another, after another. But the thing is, when I when I talk to the invisible, if I believe that there are guardian angels and archangels and mystics, and I'm so surrounded by a universe that supports every one of us, I gotta walk the talk. So I am now learning, and I invite you to ask. Take Odin out of the mix. Don't worry about Facebook. Don't worry about what the hell anybody else thinks. Okay, John?
Yeah.
Perhaps the idea of tapping into you, because I know you connect with the other side. I don't know who, only you do, but maybe that once John is removed from it and the answers of why we are here, we're all light workers, we're all the light, we're all here hoping and remembering our purpose is that we are to remind people, help them recognize within themselves the wondrousness they are. So maybe, I don't know, maybe you're
Yeah.
not supposed to post, maybe you are, but my advice, and you didn't ask for it, but my advice and encouragement is put yourself aside and ask the other side. Because you
Yeah.
don't know, we don't know who we're supposed to help, just like I didn't know who that damn pamphlet for, but it was in my hand. It was given to me for a reason. It wasn't for my butt to go through the door. It was
Right.
for me.
That is really helpful because it does. You get to the point where I was going through like, who is this person? And you're right. I am a vessel for things that come through. Sometimes I'll have these feelings that I don't know where they're from, and then later on in the day, and you're right. If I don't share them, well, then the person who's actually connected, because we live in a collective, like everyone who subscribes to this channel, we are connected. Every one of our friends from Drum Circle, we're connected. All of my family, we're connected. My daughter, my daughter is like, it's super scary how connected we are. We can think each other's thoughts, feel each other's things all the time. And
Amazing.
it is. And that's something that you just helped me with, that because I was like, why am I about to write this? Why am I about to send this message? Does it matter? And is it going to help somebody? And then I've just held back because a lot of it, I felt like it was going to be arrogant, you know?
Judgment,
And yeah,
judgment. You're judging yourself. Anything that follows like, I felt like,
yeah,
and then you judged it.
that's
So
right.
once you allow yourself to say, this is what I really feel. I'm scared. I'm feeling unworthy. This isn't about my feelings. This is about the idea that we are the whole ocean, and another drop somewhere of the wetness needs this push,
Yeah.
this current, this energy.
Yeah.
So we just don't know. That's why I think it's going to take practice for a lot of light workers to realize this ain't about us, man. This is about humanity. This is about just that one fractal who or the note of our orchestra in this beautiful symphony that needs to hear, oh, it's my turn.
Yeah.
Yes, no, I recognize the melody.
Yeah.
That
Like
beautiful song.
the one who wasn't listening to you just wanted seats and like that. There's two reasons that person was like that. Either one, a very competitive parental influence, or two, absolutely no love or appreciation in their life. So we see that. That's what happens when I see people's actions or their words, what they're saying, is I can see back to where it kind of came from, not from anything else, but working through my own shadow work. Like even as I'm going through these Goetia, I'm realizing that there's a maturity that's coming through as I'm moving through these shadows. And it doesn't even have to be some spectacular scene of events, right? It's so subtle. And you don't realize it until you go to do the integration work. And you're like, oh my God, look at this. I started to do the Goetia because actually I didn't know why. They were just calling me. They're like, we need you to start working us and sharing it. I'm like, okay. First thing I thought was because of the nature of the Goetia, everyone is going to, and there was people that thought that I was trying to share dark magic and demonology. Those people at this point in time, as we've went through, it's even changed their mind. They're like, oh shit, no, something's happening as we work through these. So I think that's where that came from, where my posts were, because I'm noticing a change in my life, and I'm asking myself that question, just like my brother. I'm asking myself, who is John today? Who am I becoming, and where is that heading? I've come to the understanding that I don't want to chase anything anymore in my life. I want to live accepting everything and all the small things that make life happy. They really matter to me. So I don't know. I think I went off on another tangent, but
No,
that's what I do.
this is really good because I'm thinking for myself, gives us fodder to think about during the week. And that's all this is. It's a different kind of feast that we can buffet on. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm I know there's a lot of us who don't tune in to the out world because somehow, don't worry, you'll get news of it quick enough. But
yeah,
yeah, now um, I'm just, it's fun, as you mentioned, getting older. And even planet Earth, she is maturing as well, too. I
yeah,
mean, everything matures. And so I know in science fiction, when we like to have that drug or that fountain of youth, but in reality, we really do, in a sense, have that. And that's for another whole conversation. So, anyway,
yeah.
what questions or cards are you going to pull today?
Let's pull some tarot. And yeah, working with the occult, not occult as in like dark magic. I mean like energy work, working with astrology or the human design or planetary energy. It really is a fountain of youth. It helps you in some miraculous way. It is magic, and I don't know how to explain it. All I know is that when you work with energy, you heal. You heal like body ailments, you heal sick. I'm not going to make the claim that I never get sick, but I rarely get any kind of sicknesses anymore. And it's basically because we are working with energy. And the more we flow that chi through our body, meditation, breath work, even walking, picking up Tai Chi. I don't do Tai Chi yet, but I could. But when you're walking, there's forms, there's ways of breathing. And all it does is this energy comes through and it heals you in ways that you can't explain. Is a dark spirit around you? Well, let's find out. Light and darkness are the same. They work together. Not so. That's right. Light and darkness
That's
can
the
be.
thing. That's right there, the example of non-duality.
Yeah. And light and darkness is just the you can define it as unaware and awareness. Things you don't realize and what you do. Wow, we got a big burst. So it doesn't look like dark energy is surrounding you, Duncan Brooks. We've got Nine of Cups, Eight of Wands inverted, and Page of Wands. So what this is telling me is that there's something that you need to celebrate emotionally and stop trying to put your energy elsewhere for the moment. Look at what you have. So, for the collective, it's time to get out of your heads, collective.
Oh, you
Oh,
can't make stuff up, John. I'm telling you.
right? Yeah. So this spread right here is totally telling me like stop trying to and it's masking. We were talking about it. Understand yourself. Be fulfilled in who you are. Learn, do some practices to get acquainted with yourself and accept it because putting too much energy elsewhere takes away from the beauty of yourself. Just release those binds. Let's see. Anybody else got any questions?
Thank you. That was really, that was, I giggle at how easy the universe really, I mean, well, 100 years from now, they'll be saying, what were they talking about? We've been here all along. That's what I'm kind of thinking. But right now, because this is all new and we're remembering, centuries ago, they would always refer refer to counsel or talk to someone. And it wasn't a human body. It was definitely an invisible field and presence of sorts.
I was talking to my therapist about that yesterday because I took some of my art in to explain to him like when I say I see spirits, this is what I mean. And I showed him some drawings and we were talking about he goes, what are the other ones you see? I go, they're really hard to draw. Like there's no way I could put them in some form of art because it's a lot of sensory, it's a lot of um, translucence when they come through. And, we were talking about that. Divine intervention came out. So this topic here has been about divine intervention. What did you say again?
When? Right now?
Yeah, about the higher dimensional beings. There were feelings, right?
Right, but I'm saying from 100 years from now, they're going to look back in the timeline that we are in right now as we're remembering and waking up to the fact that this is what something that the even back thousands of years ago, they didn't request information from a white-haired man in a golden throne up in the sky. They really were tapped in, I'm telling myself,
Yeah,
to the invisible presence, the invisible force, perhaps it's all invisible love that we aren't aware of, and yet it's so this close as my breath.
yeah.
And I'm thinking 100 years from now, they'll laugh and say, "Oh, silly, silly timeline. They must have forgotten."
Yeah, right? Yeah, because it is an invisible presence and it's that sensation you get. Like Holy Moly put in the chat, he put, if you have to reach God in a book and not your soul, you might need to check yourself. True. I mean, books do help people guide. They are a guide. But if you are too, like, I used to be a part of a community, right? I won't mention the name of them out of respect for others. And the rule of the community was there was no, it was not allowed to talk about personal experiences with the divine. It had to come from the book. And if
I
it didn't come from the book, you were banned from the community. And I said, well,
how mesmeric and the decondition I mean, the conditioning of the, um the idea. It just took the one idea that someone wanted to create. That's how powerful we are. If we are wanting harmony, if we are wanting peace, if we are wanting abundance, let me tell you, cowboy, there is enough of the pie for everyone.
for
But the
everyone.
idea is we to tap in, to allow ourselves to embody that and know that is truth with a capital T.
Yeah.
It how can we, when our entire life we've been fingered and said, no, 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 you can't do this. No, you're not good enough. Blah, blah, blah. You get what I'm saying?
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it does show lack mentality, even competitive ego. When people are, oh well, you don't know this. It shows a lack mentality, and again, I can all lack mentality. I can trace back to a person's childhood. You can see it. You know, they probably went to school with not the not the coolest clothes. You know, they probably didn't have, maybe their parents didn't have the nicest car. And, so when I see that competitiveness, I kind of, now don't get me wrong, I still get triggered sometimes, but I'm in a point in my life where even when I'm triggered, I stop, I pause before I lash out. I think about these things. Well, this person's not really that. They're coming from a place of this or that. And I'm really proud of that part of me in my life. It took a long time for me to get here because I used to be the one who would snap when people were competitive or downplaying or talk down to me or, tried to do something in offense. Now I can actually see where it comes from, and it makes me feel good for my life journey.
see, that's good because that's called the deconditioning. And I'm talking about the conditioning when we were babies, when we were one, two, three, four, five,
Yeah.
all of that. No, no, no. And that's why I think the circles are uniting. And it's almost like we're innately knowing what to do to go into the circles is to be around love. We know what it is to be around supportive. We know what it feels like to be ourselves. And and if they point something out, well, you just laugh at yourself and say, "Yeah, I guess I did that."
Yeah.
But I'm human in this three dimension again. Remember, so it's a lot of the conditioning that I've had. We've all had, and now to uncondition or decondition one's conditioning, that is tough. And then to allow oneself to be into that rhythm of just love and let me let's walk together, let's be in harmony, let's laugh, let's giggle, let's create
Yeah.
beyond our wildest imagination.
Yeah. I was talking, this wasn't my therapist, but the manager of the shop. He was saying that too. He's like, we were talking about how the awareness of behavioral and mental disabilities have become. And he's like, it's a very good time in our world where in the past, to have ADHD or to have schizophrenia would be very shunned and very bad. Now we're understanding that it's okay. We need to see people at their levels. And as long as they're getting some kind of help or working on it, that's the beauty of it. And he really set me back when he said that. I had to take a breath and go, it really is a beautiful time in the world. where we're accepting people, we're accepting whatever they believe, what they feel, because that's part of the deconditioning. Back in the past, we would put them in a box, label them something, and what happens from them? Put them in a pressurized system, and they lashed out and they would cause harm.
Yeah,
That's,
yeah. There's definitely a lot of steam because the water has been rapidly coming to a boil. So you know what that means. There's going to be steam. So
yeah,
I just invite all of us to just take that moment and pause. Just take that moment. The weather is just becoming so delightful. And just to sit there and plop your chair out in the sun and get some vitamin D. And even if you don't have to think, and even if you do have to think, just to pause and realize the idea and concept that we are all this
yeah,
right here in this suit.
right. Yeah, like that Alan Watts video you sent, the lecture he was talking about the emotions that we feel, and then once we see it displayed in the universe, we are that. That is us. And it helps us bring ourselves into alignment. So I love you too, my brother. Holy moly out there. Thank you very much. We are our brother's keeper. That's my brother, holy moly. My brother Brandon. I gotta get him on one of these talks one days because
I love
he's
it.
he's got a beautiful, beautiful mind, and he can tell some good stories, especially about when it comes to the divine, like things me and him have had so many different things, aliens, interactions with the divine, uh, manifestations appearing in front of us that
It's almost like you're on your own Star Trek voyage.
yeah, yeah. And it's funny, it is like that. A lot of the times we get all these signs and synchronicities. You just I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, so that's our time for the
That's where Bob and I say, hold your apron open
yes.
and receive, because there is so much harvest of good and very good. But you can't catch it if your apron is folded in the closet. You just have to hold it open and say, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I know we're cutting off, but make sure you subscribe and support my friend,
Oh yeah.
John. His channel is so much fun. This guy, I know you guys know him. We all know him in our own way, but this guy, John Odin Gray Wolf, he's got a lot of stories, a lot of wisdom, but he's allowed us to pop in on this channel and learn so much. And it ain't what they teach in school.
Thank you, Sam. And I learn a lot from you too, especially. We're all in this together, man. It's beautiful. So thank you guys all in the chat for coming. Thank you, Jamie Jetty, and thank you and Bob and Katie. Oh my God. Our circle, it's been amazing. It's been a good journey.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see for many more to come.
All right. Well, everyone be safe and hit the bell so you remember, or you get notifications for John's. I'm having a sense that he's going to be talking to the other side, so there might be more posting coming up.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. There'll be some more videos coming up, especially now that we went through that, well, why ain't I posting thing? I keep forgetting there are messages that aren't just for me, they are for others. So thank you guys very much. Check out Anura Labs and Stargate Sound Medicine, Facebook and online. Stargate Medicine, correct? Online?
Yeah, we have our next sound um journey is March 7th. I know there's a lot of things, drum circle, but it's we have space for now 14 to just experience their own transformation. So
Yes.
anyway, stay tuned. Thank you.
All right, y'all. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next time. Yes, holy moly, everyone is beautiful in their own way. Try to remember that about yourselves, and we will see you next time. Take care.